Hello, I am David Kalmar, a special education teacher with the Bucks County Intermediate Unit. Today I'm going to be talking about number sense, teaching number sense using the What's My Rule routine. Uh, I'll be speaking for about 5 to 7 minutes on the background that goes into it and how to teach it, and then I will show you a, a case study of it being run in the classroom. By the time we are done with this presentation, you will be equipped to do these routines yourself, and you will have all the resources you need to continue to teach number sense routines in your classroom. What is number sense? Number sense is comes under a variety of names depending on which academic literature you're reading. It's most generally known as number sense, but sometimes in developmental literature it's considered early number sense and sometimes called approximate number sense. But in any case, it comes down to really good intuition and understanding about numbers and the relationships among them, or kind of more generally number sense is a shorthand for our ability to quickly understand, approximate, and manipulate numerical quantities. Notice this is not about calculation. This is about having an understanding. Lastly, the ability to decompose numbers naturally using particular numbers like 100 or 1/2 as reference, use the relationships among arithmetic operations to solve problems, understand the base 10 number system, estimate, make sense of numbers, and recognize the relative and absolute magnitudes of numbers. I want to highlight three ideas in these definitions of number sense. First is number one, good intuition. Second, to quickly understand. And the third is to estimate. Notice this is about an understanding of number, not about computing numbers. There are five components that go into number sense. First, one is number meaning, which is the consists of three things. One is cardinality, how much or how many a number has. Ordinality, the order in which numbers appear. And then the nominal, which is the being able to put names against numbers. Second is the number relationships, that is to say, the ability to decompose numbers into its components. Another is the idea of a greater than or less than. And finally is patterns that exist among numbers. Third would be number magnitude, which is the idea of, depends on the context. In the context of 100, a number may be very small, but in the context of 1/2, it may become a large number. Operations involving numbers, that is to say, understanding the effects of numbers. You can put numbers together, you can take them apart. And finally, reference for numbers and quantities. Words have names. Now, number sense matters because number sense is an analog is important to mathematics learning, as phonemic awareness has been to the reading research field. You need number sense in order to develop mathematical skill. So number sense has been shown to be a longitudinal predictor of arithmetic skills. So in a just completed study of over a meta-analysis of over 400 quantitative studies, and we find that there are really three different factors: numeric component, a language component, and a spatial component. The three of them together are what drives mathematical skills. Within that numerical component, we find the non-symbolic and symbolic operations. Non-symbolic is that the act of approximating, and that's where we have number sense. So without developing a sense of number, it's difficult to acquire a well-rounded mathematical skill. It's taught under a variety of names. Sometimes it's called number sense routines, sometimes they're called number talks, sometimes they're called high yield routines, but whatever the name is, you're still teaching number sense. And there are a lot of ways of teaching it. There are all kinds of number routines. At the end, I'm going to show you a bunch of resources. There are literally hundreds of different number sense routines that you could use in your classroom, starting with subitizing. And I introduced this first because a lot of people are going to be familiar with that one. They're quick image number talks. You show numbers, a number field, and people have to figure out quickly what they just saw. There's a which one doesn't belong sort of rule. where they have to identify the odd man out. There's choral counting, where students are counting and learning rhythms and learning the sequence of numbers. There's a would you rather, where people are forced to play with the idea of more than less and less than by trading it off against real world scenarios. There's what's my rule, which we'll talk about today. And then are number talks, which become challenges for students to talk about how they are thinking about numbers and how they are solving problems and the different ways that math problems can be solved. The what's my rule routine is basically a function machine, or a rule engine is its essence. And you would recognize this from any elementary school mathematics textbook. There's an input, there's a rule, and there's an output. At the second grade level, it might be subtract 6, and the student is given an input and has to figure out, if they subtract 6, what the output is. By the time they get to third grade, there's an input, and they have to figure out what the rule is. Input might be 2, and the output is 6. To teach it, it's even simpler. The prep is, number one, create a rule for the students to deduce, such as even numbers. Could be whatever you're teaching in your class. And the other is you draw a big circle on the board, and it goes from there. Explain the game to the students, they're going to take turns guessing. They're going to figure out the rule. They're going to keep the answer to themselves, and they're going to help the other students figure out the rule. When the game starts, students are going to take turns guessing. If the number fits the rule, you write it inside the circle. If the number does not fit, then you write it outside the circle. And you keep going until you're ready to entertain an answer. So for the students, here's a template. You can use this slide. You raise your hand to test the number. You look for a pattern or rule for the numbers in the circle. Thumbs up if you know the rule. Shh, keep the rule in your head. Don't be blurting out the answer. And lastly, help others see the rule by giving numbers that work. So I'm going to now show you an example from the classroom of this rule as it is implemented. There's a 2-minute introduction as it is explained to the students. As the students gain familiarity with the process, that amount of time can be cut down. Once students start guessing, they solve the rule within 1 minute and 20 seconds. How fast will it take you to figure out what the rule is? This is a classroom of high school students with mathematical aptitude ranging from first grade through fifth grade math. And this particular number sense routine is appropriate for all of them.
All right. There we have a number sense routine. What's my rule? I have a new rule. Who remembers doing number sense routines? Who remembers what my rule? Sam, that's right. Sean, yes. Chloe, do you remember? Yes. AJ, do you remember? What's my rule? Biggs remembers. Dolphin tickets for all of our friends. That's right. So, our expectations, number one, I'm going to draw a circle on the board. In the circle will go the numbers that fit the rule that I have. Outside the circle will be the numbers that do not fit the rule. Raise your hand when you're ready to test a number. Numbers between 0 and 100. If you say, oh, Dr. K, my number is 10,000. Am I going to say, cool, let me check it? No, thank you. Look for a pattern, look for the rule that fits all the numbers that are inside the circle. Last week, Joshua got it. Remember that one? Yeah, very good. So we have a lot of people who are very good. Bix gets it a lot, Sam gets it a lot, Sean gets it. Chloe, do you get them? AJ gets them. Thumbs up when you think you know the rule. Does that mean you shout out what the rule is?
No.
Thumbs up. Keep it in your head and help by others see it by giving numbers that work when you're called on. Any questions?
No.
Here is the circle.
Mr. Hussey, what's your location?
Where is my circle? There it is. Who Who'd like to go first? All right, Sam, then Sean.
2.
2. I am sorry, Sam. 2 is not in the circle. Sean, what's your number? Got to start somewhere. What's your number?
1.
1 is not in the circle. Bix, Chloe, Joshua, AJ. Yes, Bix? Yes, 21 is in the circle. 21 is in the circle. AJ, number. 1 between 0 and 100. I'm thinking that Bix might have a number 4. AJ.
31.
31. No. 31 is not in the circle. Yes, Bix? Yes, AJ? Oh, I thought you had a number. Joshua, what about you? Do you have a number?
24.
24. Yes, 24 is in the circle. Don't remember, when you get it, don't shout. Chloe, I need a number.
Let me try to think. I'm probably sure 27.
Yes, you
Yeah!
are correct. 27. All right, who's next? All right, Sean, then Bix, then Sam.
20.
20. No, 20 is outside the circle. Good guess,
I
Bix.
know the answer.
You think you know the answer?
Yeah, I already know it.
Don't shout it out. All right, give us a number that fits the rule. That's going to help these guys guess.
30.
Yes. I think maybe you do.
I know it already.
Maybe you do know it. Now don't shout out, Sam. You think you know?
Yes.
What is a number that fits the?
99.
Yes, 99.
No, I think
Wait.
I think I know.
Don't shout it out. Now, Joshua, do you have a number?
No.
Okay. Let's have another number. What's your number?
50.
50? 50? All
Yeah.
right. 50 is not in the circle. Does that help you guys? Chloe, I need another number. Yes. What's your number?
3.
Yes. All right.
Yeah.
I'm thinking you guys might have an idea.
That's the answer.
Bix, what is a rule that all of these numbers obey? By threes. How? All right. Yes, that is a rule. It's by threes. What is it by threes?
Times 3.
Times threes. Is there another way we can say that?
Plus 3.
Exactly. We can multiply by 3, counting by threes.
Divide.
5 times 3 is? 15. Great job. There we go. How many of you were able to deduce the rule before the students did? So here's an example. You could do it with odd numbers. Odd numbers are a little tough. Takes them a lot of guesses to realize that the pattern is odd numbers. They're much better with even numbers. So they can get those pretty quickly and identify that pattern. Counting by threes can be pretty quick. Or you can have something more functional, counting by fives, like nickels. Counting and dividing by fives. You can have other sorts of rules. It doesn't have to be multiplication and addition. Here is the rule, the number has 4 as a digit. My friends were pretty quick to get that one. But then you have compound rules like a number 0 to 25 or less than 26 can be pretty tricky for them to identify that one. So in conclusion, the what's my rule number sense routine can be a valuable augment to your math curriculum. First, builds foundational number skills. Second, functions as a math warm-up to any math lesson. Third, because it is a gamification of math learning, it is highly engaging. It's quick to implement. All you have to do is think of a rule and draw a circle. It requires very little prep time, and it can be highly accessible to the majority of students served by the Bucks County Intermediate Unit.
Here are a variety of resources that were cited, references that were cited throughout this paper. And here are some sources that you could use for teaching number sense routines yourself. There are literally hundreds to choose from. Enjoy. For more information on number sense routines, feel free to contact me, David Kalmar, dkalmar@bucksiu.org. I hope to hear from you soon. Take care.